The era of certainty is over. In a stunning twist at the United Nations, U.S. President Donald Trump declared that Ukraine can win back all of its lost territory from Russia, even Crimea. He called Vladimir Putin's Russia a paper tiger. But that wasn't all. Trump went further, saying NATO allies should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter alliance airspace. For many, this wasn't just tough talk. It was a warning that the war in Ukraine may be heading towards the unthinkable, a direct NATO versus Russia clash, a conflict that could look frighteningly like the opening chapters of World War III. Welcome to TFI Global. For years, Trump painted himself as the great deal maker who could end the Ukraine war in 24 hours. His earlier rhetoric leaned towards isolationism, get America out of endless wars, stop spending billions on Ukraine and make Europe pay more for its own defense. But on September 23, 2025, standing before world leaders at the UN, Trump flipped the script. He not only pledged support for Ukraine's maximalist goal, restoring pre-2014 borders, but also openly endorsed NATO's right to directly engage Russian aircraft. For Kyiv, this was a dream statement, but for Moscow, it was a nightmare. And for the rest of the world, it raised a terrifying question. Is Trump pushing NATO into a head-on collision with Russia? Why does this matter? Until now, NATO's strategy has been carefully calibrated. Did it provide Ukraine with weapons, intelligence, and money? Yes. Did it allow Ukrainian pilots to use Western planes? Yes. But it avoided direct clashes between NATO forces and Russian forces. Trump's words blur that line. If Poland or the Baltic states begin shooting down Russian jets, what happens next? Russia has already warned repeatedly that any NATO attack on Russian forces would trigger retaliation, potentially invoking Article 5 of the NATO Charter, plunging the entire alliance into a war. This is where analysts say we're entering escalation territory, the slippery slope from proxy war to world war. History has time and again told us how certain incidents have triggered wars in the past. In 1914, the assassination of Archduke spiraled into World War I. In 1939, Hitler's invasion of Poland triggered a chain reaction that became World War II. Could a Russian jet shot down over the Baltic skies in 2025 be our Sarajevo moment? If NATO and Russia collide, the world risks splitting into two hard camps. On one side, the NATO-led bloc, the US, Canada, Europe, along with partners like Japan, South Korea, and Australia. Together, they control more than half of global GDP and possess unmatched technological superiority. On the other, a Russia-led axis. Russia itself, backed by China, Iran, and North Korea. Add in Venezuela and others sympathetic to Moscow. It's not a formal alliance, but it's united by one principle: resisting Western dominance. This loose coalition brings manpower, resources, and regional leverage. China provides money and tech. Iran supplies drones and missiles, North Korea sends artillery shells, and Russia provides oil, gas, and nuclear brinksmanship. Sound familiar? The parallels to past world wars are hard to ignore, and here lies the most terrifying part. In 1914 and 1939, the world fought with tanks, rifles, and bombers. In 2025, we live under the shadow of 12,000 nuclear warheads. Russia's doctrine allows tactical nuclear strikes if its territory or regime faces existential threat. Trump's comments calling Russia a paper tiger may embolden NATO, but they also corner Putin. A cornered nuclear power is unpredictable. Even a limited nuclear exchange in Eastern Europe could kill millions instantly and doom billions through radiation, famine, and nuclear winter. For the first time in generations, humanity stares directly at the abyss of self-destruction. And what about India, the world's largest democracy and a rising global power? India's position is uniquely complicated as well. Its democratic values and partnerships with the US, Japan, and Australia pull it towards the West, but history and hard realities tie it to Moscow. Russia remains India's largest arms supplier, and Russian oil has been a lifeline for the Indian economy. Yet in a NATO-Russia showdown, that balancing act could collapse. For New Delhi, neutrality may no longer be an option if the world fractures. Much of the speculation now swirls around Trump himself. For years, critics accused him of being soft on Putin. Whispers of a pact between the two leaders shaped his first presidency, but now his fiery words at the UN cut directly against Moscow. Is Trump genuinely pivoting towards intervention, or is this simply tough talk, a bargaining chip to force Putin into a ceasefire? Whatever the case, his statements have shifted the mood worldwide, from cautious proxy war to open speculation about NATO boots on the ground. And if that happens, we're no longer talking about Russia versus Ukraine. We're talking about World War III. But let's pause. The world isn't doomed yet. Even as Trump raises the stakes, he also prides himself as a deal maker. There are still off-ramps. NATO aid remains defensive. Putin, despite fiery rhetoric, has hinted at ceasefires if NATO stops expanding. Global institutions like the UN, G20, even neutral states like India or Saudi Arabia could step in as mediators. History also offers lessons. During the Cold War, the US and USSR stood on the brink of nuclear war multiple times, from the Cuban Missile Crisis to Able Archer 83. Yet leaders pulled back, choosing survival over annihilation. The question is, will today's leaders show the same restraint? Trump's UN speech may go down as a turning point, the moment America shifted from caution to confrontation, from isolationism to intervention. But with every word, the stakes rise, alliances harden, the nuclear shadow lengthens, and billions of people from Washington to Moscow to New Delhi wonder, are we truly on the edge of World War III? Or can diplomacy, common sense, and sheer survival instinct pull us back from the brink? Only time and the decisions of a few men in positions of immense power will tell. This is not just history unfolding, this is our future, hanging by a thread. Thanks for watching.